And guys, we're on our way back. We have done the first third. These long trips we normally break our journey in thirds. This is the first third. We're going to do now the halfway mark. It's 102 kilometers. It's actually the longest part of the road, but half of it is on highway and the other half is mountain pass. So yeah, we've got to take it easy and chill. Die garage is daarom nie te besig nie. Okay, so you understand what I'm trying to say? I can't really see traffic on that side. Come in. Kyk nou wanneer jy reg is. Goed. Ek moet so gaan. Dis kans maar. You can come one time. One time. MacLeod.
I'm strapping on my armor, patching down my shield. Sometimes we yearn to conquer, sometimes we learn to yield. The relentless raging river, wears away the stones, rendered to our essence, birthed in blood, bone in bone. Bone in bone. In the ancient halls of memory, every trace of who we are, the echoes of experience, our symphony of scars, the scattered seeds of sorrow in our fallow fields are sown, nurtured in our penance, birthed in blood, bone in bone. Bone in bone. So many pleasures fleeting, they pass us in a flash, and the ones we do not cherish treasures turn to ash. To wear your dreams like medals on your campaign jacket sewn, a testament to courage, birthed in blood, bone in bone. Bone in bone. Bone in bone.
Now that bit of music was from Bill Knight that we had listened to in Stanford on that on the one evening, which was quite a very pleasant music he produces. Really laid back. It's really the kind of music I actually like, the laid back music. Yeah, and basically, to cut the story short here, this song actually makes me think about things that just seems to be disappearing slowly but surely as we travel through these smaller towns. All these big buildings with big churches and nice little hotels like the Royal Hotel. Every town in South Africa once at a stage, to me, had a hotel called the Royal Hotel basically, and yeah, they're few and far between nowadays, and those are things that I think the new generation of kids will never know, because the kids today are growing up in new churches where they don't. It's basically just an hall or a something else that they go to. It's not this massive like church buildings like in the past, which are really iconic buildings for any town. And then the hotels again, that's the guest house and stuff are all taken over, to where the hotels are slowly but surely disappearing from all the major towns on the outskirts, especially on the outskirts of the bigger cities. You find that all these little hotels have started to disappear because it's not viable for them anymore to continue with business. And those are things that the song actually makes me think of in a way. It's like all the things that are disappearing that we don't see nowadays. Yes, and firstly I'd want to thank Bill Knight, which I actually WhatsApped him once I got back to Oudtshoorn, and he WhatsApped me some of these original music, which he said we could use on our vlogs, with a mention of his name and so on, and share it with our friends. And and I'm sure you guys can look him up. It's different. It's not like rock pop music. It's just laid back music, very nice to listen to. And yes, I'd like to say thank you to him and his partner for making our weekend very special in Stanford. And yes, it would be very nice to hear from everyone here that watches these channels that actually want to comment on stuff like these church buildings that are disappearing and how you feel about them, and the hotels itself, because everyone has their own opinion. And some people say I'm more of an old timer, and I mean, I'm not super religious or anything like that, but I just but for me it's just very it stands out. Like in little towns, you can go see in all our older videos, there's always like a massive church or a massive church building. They're standing, most of them are still in service, but they standing empty in most cases. And I just sit and wonder, will these buildings be standing there in about 200-300 years time? Which I've got a feeling they won't, in a way, because the way we just breaking down and rebuilding and breaking down, it's like from the past, the pyramids, the Incas, all those little structures that have also just crumbled up after centuries of just standing around, which was like actually masterpieces of work, including these church buildings that we have in South Africa. the architecture that went into it is like remarkable. Really, for me, it's remarkable, and it's a standout feature, and it's actually something to do, like in a sense for me, like praise to the religion that the people are praying to, and that's it's built in honor of God. And yes, it's like I said, it's beautiful buildings, and I will miss this. Maybe not as much as what my kids that and their kids. They won't. I don't think they'll actually be able to experience some of these buildings that we drive through, and then we stand in awe looking at them. So yeah, if like I said, you guys must comment and tell me how you guys feel. But I mean, I would love the people just to preserve these buildings, and in some cases, I would say all these new religions that crop up, like I call them the Happy Clappy Church or the Bikers Church or whatever church it is. Maybe they can come to a compromise with these old church buildings that are, even if it's in a further in another town away from the towns that you are, like for instance a Bikers Church, you can actually maybe arrange with the people to actually use the building for a congregation on a Sunday or something like that, instead of having these buildings just standing empty. They're houses of worship, and it doesn't matter what you worship or how you worship in there, as if they're getting used for the right purpose. It's actually will actually make these buildings stand out again in that sense. Like, I mean, okay, so the building was used 100 years ago by the NG Church or by the Roman Catholic Church, and then the next 50 years it got used by this church or this thing and that thing. I just feel that we should do something with these buildings, and preserve is the main thing. So the same I feel with the hotels that have basically struggled to compete against these guest houses in general, due to the financial situations of most of these places, where I think maybe the municipalities of all these smaller towns should actually subsidize maybe, or give the hotel maybe a bit of room, maybe a bit of reprieve when it comes to rates and taxes, so that they can actually run a more competitive business, in a sense, be more competitive in that sense against the guest houses that are all cropping up. Because I've got nothing against the guest houses, it's a thing that has to be there, because there's not enough room for everybody. But I mean, the hotels I don't think should be charge so much rates and taxes and those things, because it's also an iconic building for a town. It creates a lot of jobs, and also it includes maybe a restaurant in the hotel. There's a restaurant in the hotel, there's a pub in the hotel, there's some in the olden days there was even dance floors and stuff like that. The hotel was where everyone would actually congregate to have fun during the week. And on weekends, and that is totally disappeared. I mean, you don't get dances at hotels anymore. You don't get the people that hang out at the pubs, or so I don't know, not much people either, because there's so much restaurants in town offering the same with better food and better service. So something has to be done, but just in order to get to keep the building in the town and to keep it running as a iconic building, because it just adds something to the town, in my way of thinking. And I'm thinking like these hotels, these churches, if no one says anything and no one does anything, they're going to disappear, because we all know in South Africa what happens here. basically anything that's not being used just gets ransacked. I mean, first the windows frames get stolen, and then the bricks even of the place. Eventually vagrants move in, they make fires inside the place. It actually happened in Oudtshoorn, in one of these iconic buildings that we had there. A Standard Bank was in one of them, right, for years and years. It's a beautiful olden day building. You can go Google it. The old Standard Bank building in Oudtshoorn. It's like a really old building, still made of those big bricks and stuff. And the bank ran the service there throughout these, like, for quite a few years, the Standard Bank. And it took them about 2-3 months after they moved out. The building stood empty because no one wanted to use the building due to the restrictions and this and that. And the next thing, you had a bunch of vagrants moving in. They burnt up the fire. They burnt the mats and stuff inside to make fire and stuff like that. It was just chaos. And and that's what's going to happen to all these buildings. Like, guys, if you have any influence in your town and so on, maybe look into it, see what can be done to save these towns, and I'm sure these buildings. And like I said, I'm sure it's like this in a lot of places in the world. All these modernizations have just made way with some of these iconic buildings. It would be nice to keep them and preserve them for our kids and their kids and the generations to come. And with that was like our ride back home to Oudtshoorn from our weekend in Hermanus and Stanford, and our drive out of Riversdale towards Swellendam. And I will leave you guys here halfway through the trip. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yes, there's nothing much happening on the video, but it's just besides what I've talked about, the scenery around us is always breathtaking. It doesn't matter if it's a hot day, rainy day, it's just breathtaking. And South Africa is a beautiful country, and I am very glad I live here. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Most probably we'll only produce the next video most probably in 2-3 weeks time, as the school holidays are coming up. We're expecting our grandkids. We've picked up our camper after it's been in for a bit of renovation, so maybe the next video we'll do a bit of camping and so on, or we'll show you a video with what we did with the kids. And then after that, again, a bike trip or two, because we're planning to go into the Karoo again, to those areas. One of the areas that we wanted to go to is Kliplaat, and we want to include that this year on one of our trips. Depending on the weather, we've had a tremendous amount of rain as I speak, and I can just imagine how some of those gravel roads are looking, which makes it quite difficult to travel on. But yes, stay tuned, and we will be putting out more videos as time comes along. And again, thanks for watching, and stick with us. Yes, and there's just one last thing. There's one guy always comments, and I wish more people would comment and actually question some of the stuff on the videos. I think his name's Koki Matika. It's actually nice when people actually respond to some of the stuff on the video. On the video. So yeah, Koki, thank you very much for always asking questions and so on. And yes, we'd love to do a ride with you sometime, even if it's just a breakfast run somewhere or so on, because I believe you do drive an African twin like us. So yeah, it would be nice to actually maybe get together for a ride out somewhere. And like I said, we'll catch you guys in the next video.